So Ron, appreciate you taking the time out to talk to me a little bit. So how are you doing? How's the coronavirus affecting you and your family? I know it must be a tough time since you can't hoop, being a hooper. I know that's what you love to do. That's what, makes you go. But what has life been like since this coronavirus?
Ah man, it's been crazy. I was in Europe. I was in France at the time when this all kicked off, and things kind of took place over there before it hit here in the States. And I talked with my team, and I felt as though it was better being home with my family, get my wife and my son back on this side of the water, and just trying to just take precautions, man, being safe. Fortunate enough, nobody extremely close to me has got infected with the virus. But I do know some people that have had it and gotten over it, and some people that's dealing with family members who have had it and has already passed away. So it's definitely a sad situation going on and crazy times, across everywhere in the world.
No, 100%. But talk a little bit. So since you were in Europe when it was really starting to blow up, just give us a little sense of what was really going on there and how different it was being over there and then coming home and being in the States.
Oh man, well, things were happening pretty rapidly. Day to day, things were changing pretty fast. Pretty much the lockdown just slowly closing in on us from only allowed to be able to go to the grocery store. So like I said, it happened pretty fast. Everybody in Europe is definitely taking it serious and very aware of. But seeing people just walking around with masks on and gloves on a day to day basis is kind of surreal, almost like something out of a movie.
Yeah, fact.
um, Along with our travel coming back home, the airport pretty much being completely empty because only about two flights was going out at the time. So we were lucky to get out when we did.
That's crazy. I know that must have been a sticky situation for you, and then especially for your little one too.
Yeah. So um, he
He
was
trying hard to stay still. He trying to get up and move.
exactly. But yeah, he did great. You know what I'm saying? He was good at traveling, and we did the all the proper precautions that we needed to try to stay as safe as possible while traveling with other people on the plane. And airlines did a great job of making sure people always had kind of some hand sanitizer, wiping stuff down constantly throughout the flight, and taking all the proper precautions.
100%, 100%. So, you're currently, currently you're in your 10th year playing overseas. You've been around the circuit a little bit, and you're playing in a top tier league in France. Just talk about that grind and talk about you know working your ass off essentially to being able to get to a place in your career where you're playing against the best of the best overseas. Not a lot of guys make it that far. Not a lot of guys have a 10-year career overseas. So just talk about how you've gotten to where you are.
Well, it's definitely a mixture between putting in the hard work and also just being blessed, man. Just like you said, a lot of people don't get to play for 10 years, and let alone, play at some of the top levels in Europe. So it's just years of dedication to the sport. Definitely just being confident in myself, number one, and just taking of advantages, all the opportunities that come my way. So it's definitely a mixture between preparation and opportunity. Um, I luckily, like I said, been blessed enough just being fallen in some of the right situations, even some of them that didn't seem like the best situation, but just kind of seeing the brighter part about it, being professional and taking advantage of the opportunity, um, whether it was rough or not. So, like you said, in the end, it was definitely a grind, and I'm just happy to be here to this day.
I feel that for sure. You reference how it's a grind and how some opportunities don't seem like they're opportunities until you put the work in and you see what comes from them. Talk a little bit how some of the life lessons that you may have learned along the way. Not we play these games as children, and it helps us learn how to cope with life and how to handle different life experiences. So how has playing ball overseas and then just living overseas and not being in your home country, what lessons have you learned as a man over there?
Man, a lot, to be honest with you. I mean, I think I've grown a lot over these last 10 years, and I definitely try to do a lot of mentoring to the younger guys that are coming up that try to reach out, and whether as a young guy on my team or whatnot. It's just, you know, definitely one is patience, man. You know, being over there for 9 months out of the year and you wanting to do so much back here at home or stuff that you miss out on and stuff that you want to achieve, you kind of just you want it fast in a hurry, but obviously, you know, that's not always the case. So it's just being patient is one thing that has taught me, and definitely in indulging in the culture while being over there. A lot of guys tend to just stay in the house, play video games, 2K, which is all good. But I definitely think taking advantage of while you're over there and indulging in the culture, you know, finding, you know, becoming friends with some of the locals that are there. And you learn a lot, and time kind of passes you by, and you make a lot of friends along the way, whether it be lifelong friends. It could be, you know, potentially be, you know, business opportunities. So it gives you a lot of time to just think while you're over there and think about, you know, short-term goals and even long-term goals. And a lot of guys don't really look at it that way. And that's something that I've learned being over there in 10 years. And you kind of appreciate a lot of things that are offered in the States that might not be offered while you're over there. So it's a combination of a lot of things that I'm definitely appreciative to that helped me grow as a person, as a man over these 10 years.
It's nice to hear, man. So you kind of talked about how you like to coach up the young guys. There's a lot of guys that were in similar positions to you nowadays, and I feel like nowadays it's a little bit easier to get more exposure out there, to get your name out there overseas and here back in the States as well. What advice would you give to guys who are in your position, you know, coming from a lower level D1 school or coming from a D2 school and trying to get looks and trying to, you know, get themselves out there? What do you feel like is the best route to take to get, you know, that led you to be so successful?
Really just getting in there, man, getting your foot in the door. That's with anything starting out, whether it's starting your pro basketball career or whether it's starting off a business venture is just taking that first step. So a lot of guys, obviously, you know, the name of the game is, you know, try to get paid as much as you can while doing it. But sometimes that's not the case in the beginning. And even later in your career, you know what I'm saying, might be numbers that's being thrown at you that's, you know, a couple $1,000s less than what you want. But, you know, just to keep the ball rolling, you got to kind of take those small sacrifices just to get back to where you want to be. So a lot of guys, man, got to knock out. You know, I try to tell them, you know, don't let that pride get in your way and don't turn down certain opportunities just because it might not look as lucrative as it might appeal. You know, starting off, you just kind of got to take those lumps and bruises to get where you ultimately want to be. And at the end of the day, you know, you're playing professional basketball, and not many guys have that opportunity to do so. So, you know, don't be so quick to just think that something better is coming along the way.
No, 100%, 100%. I think that's hard. That's hard for a lot of people is just, you know, rushing the process and not being able to just sit back and just enjoy it. You know, I feel like a lot
Exactly.
of people miss that part and grow
Exactly.
is just, you know, you got to enjoy the process. If you don't enjoy the process, you're not going to enjoy the success.
Exactly. I mean, just to touch more on that is kind of something like as far as like my social media, I don't try to post so much just only basketball pics or, you know, videos of me, my time over there. I kind of try to take pictures of me exploring the other places that I'm seeing while I'm over there. So that's kind of something that, you know, I think people should, you know, take more as a reward, being able to do what I do in Europe alongside with the basketball thing. Not that many guys I feel like they do that. Like I said, they just stay in the house and don't really take advantage of the things that are not even so far away from where they're actually at. You know, sightseeing and history. There's a lot of history in Europe.
No, I agree. I think more guys should be taking advantage of that opportunity. A lot of people don't even leave their own home country. So it's like if you have that ability to leave your home country and to explore and learn more, you'll be a better, more nurtured person because of it.
Exactly.
But I wanna touch on your college career a little bit at Siena. I gotta ask you about this game against Ohio State
Uh,
where you hit that big three in overtime, and then the big three late in the second overtime. I think it was with like 3.9 seconds left to actually win that game and have a big upset like that. What was that moment for you like? Like, just take us into that moment and just explain it for us. Make us feel like we're there.
well, that's tough to do. It's definitely something you just, you know, living in the moment, and you kind of just, you know, you react more so than think. And you know, definitely that team was definitely a special team. You know, us we had a special group of freshmen that came in that year, 06, 07, and that's just something that we built. And that junior year was, I think, definitely one of the greatest teams that we had in my 4 year while I was there, let alone, I think, in Siena career. Got to tip our hat off to, Fran McCaffrey, who was a great coach who put together a great team and definitely was the head of head of the horse, kind of leading the charge. So, um, like you said, man, it was just, it definitely was a surreal moment. The play design on the first one wasn't drawn up for me, but they kind of took that away. And, my coaches and, player and my teammates were confident in me and to make a play if it wasn't there. And, I just seen an opportunity to take a three and, make a big play, and it worked out. And the opportunity presented itself again in overtime when our three guard at the time, turned down a shot and kicked it to me because he seen it open. That's just shows that, how much faith we have in each other as a team. That we were unselfish, and all of us was able to make plays. It was just that night was my night.
Now you talking about you guys being unselfish. Do you think that that's the ultimate key to winning? Like you've been on you've been around a lot of great basketball minds, and you've been on a lot of solid basketball teams as well. What leads to winning in your mind? Like what do you see? Like okay, those are the key things that lead to winning and being successful.
I mean, it's definitely teamwork, man. A lot of guys hear it, but they don't actually hear it. You know what I'm saying? So I've been on a lot of teams where we were extremely talented and underachieved simply because, guys were selfish. And I've been on some subpar teams talent wise, but achieved a lot simply because guys bought in, were unselfish, and played together. And, that's the ultimate goal right there. So the times that I did win championships is just, it matched where it was all, great talent versus, great teamwork combined. And that's what makes great teams. So, a lot of guys really got to understand that, even though obviously you want to have your own personal stats, but, people remember teams and then the players versus, sometimes versus vice versa.
No, facts. It's like a great example of that is when you went 1 for 10 shooting against Louisville in that crazy press, but you still had 10 assists
Exactly.
on 2 turnovers. That's the goal for a point guard. You don't want more than 2 turnovers as a point guard. So for you
Exactly.
to do that, that's kind of crazy. But
Yeah.
talk about that experience as well. Like how was that? Especially people talk about shooters have bad nights and players have bad nights, but for you to go 1 for 10 shooting, but still have the wear enough to still be effective and still have people respect your drive factor and still be able to dish the ball. Like how what was going through your head during that game?
I just always try to impact the game, whether, like you said, it's an off night or not, which, obviously comes with any player, even the James Hardens of the world,
Thanks.
LeBron, and so forth and so on. Sometimes some nights it's just not gonna be a night. It's your ability to be able to still impact the game, and being a point guard, being able to find guys and create has always been something that I sometimes even think that I've been able to affect the game more so than my scoring. So that game was just, I knew I wasn't hitting, so I know I got a lot of talented guys around me, and just getting them the ball in the right places so they can make their plays.
No, man. Hey, facts. You got to trust your teammates, and by you doing that, it gives them more confidence on the floor as well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
But just so your brother, you both went through Plymouth-Whitemarsh High School. We both went to the same high school. Graduated totally different years, but so how was that playing kind of in your brother's shadow? What was that like? How how difficult was that for you handling that? Just speak on that a little bit.
I mean, it definitely wasn't a, an issue at all. I looked up to my big brother, so, being Chuck Moore's little brother for so many years was, it had its perks more so than than his downs.
Hmm.
So like me being able to look up to him, it was kind of, I looked at it as something honorable, being Chuck Moore's little brother, and, being able to finally make a name for my own self. Obviously made me proud, but made him and the family proud as well. So, um, it's great having somebody that can show you the way, at such an early stage in the sport that you love as well. Um, he could, give me guidance that some other people might not have, and a big brother who might not play the same sport that they love. So I use it to my advantage.
Hey, I think that's the best thing that you could do. Definitely, it was a plus that your brother, went to the same high school that you did. But also, your dad is big in our area with basketball, and your family member John Salmons played in the NBA. Did he give you? Did your dad and John? Did they give you any advice? What did you learn from your father and your dad? What were those relationships kind of like? How did they affect you?
Oh well, they definitely were both, like I said, beneficial. The same as my brother, being able to bounce ideas off of them, whether it's something that I had questions about, or them just seeing me play, whether it's in just a pickup game or an actual game, and give me some guiding tips. But the unknown name that we haven't mentioned yet is definitely my mom, who was one that took me here, there, everywhere. Um, Motivating me, pushing me to be my best, not only in basketball but also in the classroom. So she's definitely I think the number one person, even though I had basketball figures like my dad, John, and my brother. My mom was this real person that really pushed me to the max, whether it was anything that I was doing. So, I think all of them, and especially her.
No, 100%. Um, So I do want to ask you. I know I'm gonna catch you on the spot a little bit with this question, but I need you to name me your top five point guards in the league right now.
Ooh, right now I'm going to go CP3.
Okay.
Um, CP3. I guess you consider Steph a PG, so I'm gonna go Steph. Um, I'm not gonna put Brown in there. He a point forward, so I'm
Sure.
gonna go. Man, I like the young fella Ja Morant, like Damian Lillard, and I got one spot left. I know I'm missing somebody.
Well, you gonna put in there? You got. I'm
I'm
trying to think who you
missing
didn't name yet. I mean, you got John Wall, but he's still kind of hurt. You got
one.
Ben, but I mean, he's not really a point guard. He's like a point forward as well. You got Jamal Murray, Russell Westbrook.
I love Westbrook, but as a PG, I don't love him as a
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you. I be trying to tell people that, bruh. I be trying to tell people all the time. As a point guard, he's not a point guard. He
I
has
don't like
way
him as
too
a
many turnovers to be a point guard,
yeah,
and
I don't like him as a point.
he too many bad shots.
Man, I'm trying to think of the last spot. Uh,
Or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's solid too. He was hooping back when he was with the Clippers.
True.
When he had his shine, he
So
was hooping, and he was still hooping with Chris Paul too.
I give Trey some respect too. Trey Young.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I think
saying?
it's very exciting to watch.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like the younger guy, Steph a little bit.
The game has changed, so I'm gonna go with a hometown here. I'm gonna go with Kyle Lowry.
Oh, you're gonna go with Kyle?
Yeah,
Okay,
Kyle.
okay, okay, okay. I can respect that. I can respect that, Kyle. I like Kyle, but Kyle just be too inconsistent for me from time to time. And I need to see it more consistently. But no, Kyle is definitely a solid guy.
Yeah.
But moving on. So let's talk a little bit about Moore Brothers basketball. What that means to you. I see your sweatshirt that you got on. You got the memorabilia.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
But just talk more about, how you and your brother started this. What was the motivation behind starting it? What were you thinking behind it? Like, just give us a little
I
synopsis.
I definitely I always wanted to, since I started the pro thing is kind of come back home and have like camps and clinics to, kind of give back to the kids. And I feel like just the family name with me and my brother and my dad, like you said, I think, hold more weight than just the Ronald Moore camps or blah blah blah.
Mhm.
I think, the Moore family was definitely something that I felt that my brother felt would be something that we can both come along with and do something special, do something fun, and giving back to our local community, because I feel like it wasn't really many good, at least quality things that were going on in the area as far as helping the kids when it comes to clinics, even 3-on-3 leagues. Is something that we and had, kind of starting to try to make popular, just because give some young kids more opportunities to have a feel for the game. Where 5-on-5, a lot of guys don't touch the ball, or girls don't really touch the ball in a 5-on-5 setting. Where 3-on-3 is, everybody gets a chance to show off their skills, and have a chance to get better in a fun and light environment. So uh, we came up with some logos. We put together a website, and kind of just each year just try to keep growing it and expand on it, and make it better than the year before.
No, I think that's good for the community. I think it's nice that you guys do that, especially you guys, your name holds a lot of weight back home, and so the fact that you guys take the time out and give back is really great to see. And people in the community, we notice, so it's nice to see that. No, man, but I appreciate you taking the time out. Answering a few of my questions. The best to you and your family. Hope you stay safe out there. And hope you do well, finish up the season. So also, yeah, are they finishing up the season? What are the talks about
Well,
that?
they still haven't canceled the season yet. They still trying to find a way to come up with a plan to maybe possibly finish it, or a timeline. But we definitely, every week they kind of re-examine, and they kind of relate to us, where they're at, and still uncertain on what they're going to do at this point.
Got you. Well, hey man, best to you. Thank you a lot for taking the time out, and I really appreciate it.
Man, no problem.
All right, man.
Have a good one.